Welcome back to the channel. Today we got some Oilers coverage here. The game starts at 8 o'clock. I was kind of bored, so I thought, let's go through Twitter, Facebook. Let's see what kind of Oilers news there is today. And they discussed on 32 podcast just a little bit about the Oilers potentially could trade for Jacob Chychurn. And, we haven't really been linked to him. A lot of the better teams in the East have been like Boston, Washington, Pittsburgh, those guys. West has kind of been silent on it, but, that made me think. And I found an article too, and it was the Oilers do have a deep prospect pool that we could get Jacob Chychurn without hurting the fact that none of our young D would get time playing and whatnot. So we've heard it all year that Ken Holland is not going to trade his first round pick for at least a goalie anyway. There's not a lot of good goalies available that isn't worth a first round pick. Maybe a second and a mid tier prospect, but not the first round pick. The problem with our picks though too this year is we have a conditional. Our third pick is a conditional third that is supposed to go to Chicago. I changes to a second. I can't remember what it was at the trade. I thought maybe if we make the Stanley Cup or something, or playoffs or something like that, it goes to a second. So Ken Holland can't trade his second round pick this year in case that our third turns into a second, which then would mess everything up in the trade category. So we do have picks next year, which we could use. We do have later round picks we could use this year. But for Jacob Chychurn, there's the do's and then there's the don'ts as how badly do we want Jacob Chychurn. He's a good young defenseman. He's only 23. His numbers are iffy, but playing it on a team like Arizona, where this year they started off really horrible, it doesn't really work for Jacob Chychurn's sense. So we all know he's available. Arizona has came out and said he's available. They have kind of leaked that saying there is a trade on the table, but that could be Arizona going, hey, we want more offers coming in. We don't have an offer on him yet, but we're going to say we do. Now, for the Oilers' standpoint, there is the do's and don'ts. You are not trading. So Tyson Barrie's going either way in my scenario. Tyson Barrie is the more expendable defenseman on the Oilers' blue line this year because CC's having a phenomenal year with Duncan Keith. They are pretty good on that second pairing. Evan Bouchard is pretty much making it pretty easy to say Barrie's the only one because he's doing an amazing job and hopefully he gets more time on the power play. So for me, Tyson Barrie is going the other way. Arizona has came out saying they want a first-round pick, a prospect, and an NHL-ready player. Well, they might as well take Tyson Barrie because he has years left on his contract. He's not just going to be a rental. He could stay there for 3 or 4 years, whatever we signed him to. And the cap works for this because Barrie makes only $100,000 less than Chychurn. So Barrie makes 4.5, Chychurn makes 4.6. All good and dandy when it comes to the salary cap for sure for this trade. Now, the do's and don'ts. If you are Ken Holland and you're going to give up a first, you are not giving up Philip Broberg, for sure not Dylan Holloway. You're not giving up Xavier Bourgault, and you're not giving up, that's pretty much it I can think. Carter Savoy. Carter Savoy is the other one that you're not giving up. If you are giving up the first round pick, you either try giving them William Lagesson, Dmitry Samorukov, and some of you guys might say, well, why him? Well, just looking at the depth chart of the Edmonton Oilers defense, it's the same as when Holland traded Bear away this summer and Caleb Jones. The depth of the defense was catching up to them. And when it comes to Dmitry Samorukov, he's a good player, don't get me wrong. But I believe Marcus Niemelainen's in front of him. I think he's shown a physical aspect to his game that puts him ahead of him. They also still have Philip Broberg ahead of him. And if you do get Chychurn, Chychurn's going to be in front of him. So that's three really good, could turn out to be really good defense, and one NHL-ready defenseman that is just going to push Dmitry Samorukov back. That's the only reason. If it was a whole different reason that Samorukov was our next prospect, like Broberg, then I say no, don't do that. But because he is down in the depth chart when it comes to NHL ready and all that, it's just a lot easier saying, here you go, you're going to play more there because you're farther down the depth chart. Another guy, it's on the iffy side for me is Raphael Lavoie. He is on the different side. He is playing pretty well in Bakersfield right now. Like I said, Carter Savoy is a no-touchable. You do have James Hamblin that you could possibly swing in there. Ty Tullio is on the edge for me as well. So there's a lot of guys that, it's iffy about because you don't know if you should trade them or not. It all depends on the depth chart. And with the likes of Ryan McLeod probably never going back to the AHL, that opens up a center for, a prospect to come in and show what he's got. And Carter Savoy, I think after this year's done school, and he actually just put up 3 points Saturday night, 3 assists there. So for sure your untouchables is going to be Holloway, Bargot, and Proberg, and Carter Savoy. The iffy ones are going to be Lavoie, Hamblin, and Tullio. And then I would actually give up Petrov in this trade. That's just me being me. Or Samorukov. So that's the trade I would personally propose would be Tyson Barrie, a first, and probably Samorukov or Petrov. Those would be the two guys. If you're going to put any of the other guys in, for sure if you go the non-touchables, you are not throwing a first-round pick in there. You got to put something better in that, or take that out and put like a third-round pick or fourth, even a fifth, I think. Like if Holland's going to pull the trigger on this and send Broberg, you are not sending that first, you're not sending a second, you're not sending a third. Iffy on the fourth, but sure, send a fifth. But hopefully you get maybe a fourth back in return because Broberg is going to be great in the NHL. He's just getting a skate under. And like Tyson Barrie is expendable, like I said, because Evan Bouchard has came into this year and said, nope, you go down the third line, I'm playing top line minutes, and he's taking it. And hopefully Tippett realizes that, Evan Bouchard should be on the power play. Fans have been calling for that for since week 2 of the NHL season. So that's it. That's kind of the rundown of the Edmonton Oilers could get Jacob Chychurn, but what cost? And there could be different trades. It could be Tullio, Dmitry Samorukov, and Barrie, and we save our first round. Who knows? It could be like that, but for sure there are untouchables. There are the iffy players, and there are, we don't have room for them type of players just because of the depth chart. And it's not because they're bad players or anything. Just the depth chart that we have at defense right now is strong. We do have a lot of good rookies coming. We still, Bargot and Savoy aren't in the AHL yet, and we're talking about, or Tullio, and we're talking about Hamblin and Lavoie down there. Well, you add them, that team's just going to be even better than what it is now. So tell me what you think in the comments. That's what I have so far on this whole Jacob Chychurn thing is I think it would be an upgrade to our defense, bringing him in. And, he's 23. He's still not even close to his prime when it comes to this. And Arizona's not going to get the package deal like Jack Eichel got. Jack Eichel is a proven player in the NHL. So is Chychurn, but on different sorts of levels. But anyway, leave a comment and like what you think you would like to see out of this. If you would even trade for Jacob Chychurn. Maybe there's more to the deal than just Chychurn, and it's a blockbuster deal of, I don't know, 9 players. We haven't seen one like that in Edmonton for so long, can't even remember. So let me know in the comments, like I said. Hope you guys stay safe out there. Enjoy the weather. It's somewhat decent out right now. So you guys have a great day. Have a good one.